Illustrator has a way that we can create a blend from one object to another, and it is called a blend. So it blends both the shape and the colors. So what is created is a series of intermediate objects or colors between two or more shapes. So I'm going to create just a basic square here, and then I'm going to go and create a circle on the other side of my artboard, and I'm using my smart guides to line things up. They don't have to be lined up. It'll just create from the one object to the other object, no matter where they are on the artboard. So by clicking, I have two shapes here. Now what I can do is one of two methods. I have a blend tool on the toolbar, which happens to be right here below the gradient. I also have a menu item under Object, the Object menu, and Blend. Now because I don't have anything selected, of course, none of my options are visible other than my blend options, which allows me to either specify the number of steps, how smooth the color will be, or the specified distance. I'm going to cancel this for now. I can always go back and alter those options after I have created a blend. So I'm going to select both of these shapes, and with the blend tool, again, if I double click on it, I get those same options. So double clicking on that blend tool will do the same thing. So I'm going to click and I'm going to click, and it creates it. So I click my first object, then I click my second object, and it put in, and I think it had specified 8, so there are 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steps in between these two. Now if I were to double click and create more steps here, and let's turn on preview so we can see what will happen. Let's do something like 20 steps, and I'm going to press tab. You can see now that it's a continuous, they'll start overlapping. Okay, let's go back to less. Let's go back to that 8. I kind of like that. And click OK. So that's how we can use that blend tool. Now if I had the same thing going on here, let's just add a very similar effect, but this time let's use the option under the menu. I need to have my item selected, Object, Blend, and Make. And there it is. And you can see now I can manipulate my items individually with the direct selection tool. I can move these around. Oops, I'm getting my corners instead. There we go. Now you can see that I can move this in any direction. The other really cool thing, I'm going to undo Control Z for a moment. I can actually replace what's called the spine. So when I have this selected, when I have a blend selected, you see a spine, and it's the line from which this is resting on. It's a path, that's all it is. And I can do some edits to that existing path, or I could do something really cool by taking, say, my pen tool, and I'll just make my own sort of path here, something very basic. I'm going to hold down my Control key to deselect that for a moment. So in order to replace my spine, I basically need to, with my selection tool, select both my blend and that new path that I just drew. It's kind of a weird feature. It seems kind of backwards, but with them both selected, I can go under Object, and I can go to Blend, and I can go to Replace Spine. Notice that I can reverse my spine, I can reverse front to back, so I have some options here as well. But let's just replace the spine, and there you go. Kind of interesting effect. One other thing that this is really helpful for is the blend colors as well. So if I make a very small rectangle and I go to my selection tool, hold down the Alt key, and I'm dragging a copy out. Let's have this one be filled with red and a stroke of none. And this one, again, have a stroke of none. But let's have this one be filled with, let's just do a yellow right here. So I can do a blend this way as well, and this will create shapes, and it will also change my color. So if I click on my blend tool right here, click my start, click my end, there we go, and I have all of these options in between, and it's on a spine. Like I said, I can go ahead and edit my spine as well. It's just a path. So you can see if I round this, you can see what's happening is they're rounding. Now they're going to crunch because it seems as though there's some depth there. So you can play with that a little bit. and get some really interesting effects. So that's the blends. The blends will do from object to object and object with color to object with color. One other thing, if I select this, let's just double click and get my options here. So I specified the step. If I wanted to have smooth color, it will just do a smooth blend in color so I don't see those individual objects. So Illustrator will determine the number of steps that I need to have a smooth color. I also have a distance that I can specify as well if I wanted to, so that it specifies how much it's going to move. So let's say I want 0.1, and I'll tab it. It's going to move it then that amount. Let's turn this off. Okay, so there's the effects here, and this actually is the orientation. So if I do steps back again, you can see that I can tilt it because of how the path is oriented. So there are the blends. A lot of edits that you can do with these. Remember, it's shape to shape or shape and color to shape with color.